What's up, everybody? Brett here, back today with some more exciting news from the world of Battle Brothers. The Oathtakers are nigh. I am stoked. Coming out March 10th, which is just around the corner. It's March 4th as of my recording of this. 6 days is not much to wait for some sick Battle Brothers content, and I am stoked to be playing it. I have not read this yet, guys. We're going to check it out together if you haven't read it yet either. I'm excited. Let's go. I just want to say, too, I've been seeing a lot of the, I don't get a ton of views on a lot of the videos that I make, and that's cool. I make the videos sometimes for you guys, sometimes for me. But Battle Brothers is one of those series on my channel that's always done well. And whenever I start to make new content, those of you guys who just kind of lurk or take a break from the channel and go and do the other things that you're interested in and then come back, I always appreciate that y'all do come back and y'all kind of ride with me whenever we do the Battle Brothers content. So I just wanted to say thanks to all the people who've been subscribed. Some of you for years who stick around for the Battle Brothers stuff. So I appreciate y'all. Without any further ado, the Oathtakers. I'm hoping they're as awesome as the last group of guys, the Anatomists, because I don't know. I almost want to do 2 campaigns if I'm being honest. I was saying earlier that I was going to choose one because it's just such a huge time sink. But part of me wants to do 2, so I'm hoping they're equally awesome. So, the Free of Flesh and Faith DLC coming to Battle Brothers on March 10th will introduce 2 new origins to the game. We already looked at the Anatomists and their ambition to find salvation and knowledge about the flesh last week. So today we'll take a closer look at the Oathtakers, who seek their salvation in faith. Let's head on. The Anatomists had some very interesting and unique play to them, so let's see if the Oathtakers can compete. The Oathtakers are knightly warriors, beholden not to liege lords, but to the ideals and teachings of their founder, the late young Anselm. Though his own time in the world was tragically cut short, death only made him immortal, as he lives on as a paragon of righteousness and virtue in the minds of his followers. His teachers provide guidance, or his teachings rather provide guidance, and his skull is revered as a holy relic, a provenance of courage in the sea of chaos that is the world of Battle Brothers. To walk the path of young I need to figure out how to say this name correctly because I have a feeling I'm going to be saying it a lot. Anselm, young Anselm, is to take oaths to right the wrongs in this world, and even to sacrifice oneself for the greater good if need be. Essentially paladins, yes, my favorite class of everything in every game ever. Oathtakers are also on a quest to make whole the shattered skull of their founder. All that stands in their way is a nemesis born in the schism of young Anselm's death. A heresy which must be found and destroyed. Okay, this is getting juicy. Oathtakers are knightly warriors, beholden not to their liege lords, but to their ideals. Okay. The order now finds itself in dire straits, and they've turned to you to reverse their fortunes. Can you teach these zealots to become successful mercenaries? Paladins start with 2 battle-hardened warriors and good equipment. Love it. I love having the good equipment at the start and, just wading through bandits and goblins and such. And then Oathtakers sworn to young Anselm's teachings. You must take oaths that confer various advantages and disadvantages until fulfilled. Very cool. These dudes are Bretonnian knights. 100%. I know we talked about that before. In the world of Warhammer, these dudes are 1000% Bretonnian knights. And in almost every aspect that I'm seeing here. The way they look, the way they're portrayed, everything. Their heraldry. And instead of the lady, it's young Anselm. This dedicated lot starts their quest with 2 skilled warriors and good equipment. Uniquely among all origins in the game, they also start out with a company banner right on day 1. That's very good. As well as a relic which replaces the sergeant sash. That's also very good. I'm guessing it's the skull. The Oathtaker's origin does not have access to ambitions like other origins do, but instead has their very own system of taking oaths. Okay, so not having ambitions, so it replaces the system of ambitions. I like that. It'd be cooler, maybe, perhaps, me being greedy, to say that it'd be better if you could have both. But it makes sense if they're already starting with the banner and the sergeant sash, essentially. It makes sense that they wouldn't have that. So this is a cool variant. There's a lot of power to having the banner and the sergeant sash right off the bat as well. Not only is it a decent early game weapon, the banner is, but also the leadership that it confers, the resolve that it confers to your brothers to stand and fight, especially in the early game, is pretty awesome. Trying to think if there's anything slick you could do with that, having like nearly unbreakable early game bros. Hmm. Curious how it'll play in the beginning. I'm thinking, these guys, if they're really good, if their stats are really good, I try not to make dudes who have really amazing combat stats my bannerman or even my sergeant. A lot of times you can make them one and the same. Your bannerman and your sergeant can be the same guy for extra, resolve bonuses. But past a certain point, you start getting diminishing returns on, how high you need resolve to be. So what I like to do is divide them. I like to have one bannerman and one sergeant. A sergeant for me will usually be a dude in the front lines. Usually a guy with a heavy shield, heavy armor, sword. Just usually decent stats, but mostly just the guy that I can anchor in the center of the front lines. Everyone will be around him. He can call people back if need be, if people start to waver. But I like having multiple sources of resolve in my army instead of just one, because in certain battles, let's say you're fighting Alps, your brothers get super split up, and you might need to have multiple sources. So that's just a small tirade there. But I'm curious. It depends on the starting brothers how you're going to divvy this up, or if you're just going to like go and pick up like some early game monk or something, which is a character class that I like to get for their stories, but also because they generally make decent early game sergeants. Not really combat wise, but that always concerns me less than the actual flavor of the story and just kind of rolling with whatever you get. Let's read this little event here. The Battle Brothers would be despondent without purpose. Sensing their needs, you retire yourself to a quiet spot and sit, clear your mind. Young Anselm never allowed himself distractions, and you think this will work in your favor just as well. As time begins to pass, a thought nestles within your mind. You trust it to be flighty and will soon go, but instead it only grows and grows, until finally you are made to realize it is a kernel of young Anselm's guidance. And that guidance says only one thing, that the Battle Brothers' oath should be. Let's look at our three choices. We must have the courage to face down any challenge, no matter how daunting. Let us take an oath of valor and prove our bravery to all. Arrogance is an insidious killer. Thank you, Darkest Dungeon. Let us take an oath of humility and reflect on our shortcomings for a time. Interesting. Evildoers skulk and hide away from the walls of the just. Let us take an oath of fortification and bring those walls to them. I honestly don't... I could guess at some of the meanings of these, but these second two here are very interesting. I'd love to know what that's all about. God, the armor looks sick. Oh, that looks so good. Okay. Let's read. Every 10 days, it falls upon you to choose one from between several oaths that the company should take. This oath will then be active for the next 10 days and grant you both advantages and disadvantages, called boons and burdens. For example, having pledged the Oath of Honor, your men will start every battle with confident morale, but cannot use any ranged weapons or throwing tools. Alright, these dudes are 1000% Bretonnians. Bretonnian knights in the lore of Warhammer are forbidden from using ranged weapons unknightly. And then having pledged the Oath of Vengeance instead, your men will benefit from substantially increased attributes in battle against greenskins, but suffer penalties in battles against other factions. Okay. So it's a little gamesmanship. You kind of want to pick and choose when you fight what enemies, what you're doing, and just be careful about which oaths you take. I'm sure if you were to hover over these choices in game, it would give you a better idea of what they mean. So once 10 days have passed and the oath is completed, you'll gain a fixed amount of renown. You can gain additional renown by completing an objective that depends on both the oath chosen and the level of difficulty that you're playing at. For example, with the Oath of Honor, you gain additional renown if your men manage to kill opponents in one-on-one fights without your other men interfering. That's so cool. There's a total of 12 different oaths in the game, and you can choose the same oath multiple times over the course of a campaign, just not twice in a row. That's a cool little caveat, though. A way to get additional renown to have your men fight one-on-one. Are we just going all two-handed? Are we just going like all great swords, great axe, great hammer? Is that what we're doing? Are we just smashing fools with heavily armored knights? They need to add horses in this game. I've been saying that forever. Horses, rideable mounts. Wolf mounts, boar mounts, like whatever you want. Let's just get mounts in this game. I'd love to see that. We already have the goblins riding wolves. Take that mechanic and just add it in and tweak it, give each mount different stuff. You could add griffins, you could add all kinds of stuff. It would be so sick. Let me read this last little bit, though, so we can get out of here. Oathtakers are as fashionable as they are dedicated, so they come with their own adorned armor and helmets, and even a brand new and appropriately sacred-looking banner to hoist for your company. Even if you're playing with another company origin, you can hire Oathtakers as a new character background to get access to their equipment and potentially strong members for your roster. That's awesome. I'm sure they're late game, though. And if you're playing as Oathtakers, you'll get to experience a whole bunch of new events along their quest to mend the shattered relic of their founder. Yeah, I'm curious to see what that is. I will say they haven't quite sold me on the mechanics. Having altered ambitions is interesting, but is it a reason in and of itself for me to be incredibly engaged? It just seems like you're making me work harder to get something that I was already getting before. Getting unique equipment, very cool. I wish they would have told me a little bit more about this whole, like, the quest to mend the shattered relic of their founder. I wish I knew a little bit more about that. I'm curious about it. Starting with the banner and the Sergeant Sash. Essentially the Sergeant Sash. Cool. But once again, any other origin that I play as, I'm going to be getting those two things anyway. So, right now, the Anonymous is looking like the more fun and interesting campaign to go along with, while the Oathtakers perhaps are something we can kind of mess around with on the side, and I probably will be, for sure, whether I make videos on it or not. I'm sure I'll make videos on both. But yeah, feel free in this video, in the comment section, to leave your vote on which one you'd like to see. I think the Anonymous is kind of pulling far ahead from what other people have said in the other comment sections. But yeah, consider this kind of an official place to cast your vote for whichever Let's Play you'd like to see, because I'm down to do both, but I definitely don't have the time to do both to completion. So let me know, guys. Let me know which one you want to see. I'm stoked. Look for me to play it on, let's see, today's the 4th, so the 10th, 6 days from now, I'll have it up on the channel. It'll be hour-long videos, probably every single day if I can manage it. I'm pretty busy. Some cool, interesting things happening in my life right now. I'll probably talk about whenever we get into the Battle Brothers stuff, because you got to fill an hour with something. I can only talk about the game for so long, and then eventually we're talking movies and you know, books and whatever else. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comment section once again what you'd like to see. And as always, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.